This will be a video guide to Corkumnavigation from a kayaker's perspective. All this information will be related to kayakers. I found best time to leave from either Phoenix or from the Lee Fields, whichever you depart from, or around there, 2 hours before high tide, regardless of tide. If you're cautious about clearance for bridges, go earlier, and that should give good clearance to all bridges and cover all the weirs that you need to be covered. So I'm just going to roll the footage of all of the bridges that you get to cover with all the names, and I'll point out some tricky bits about some of them. So enjoy!
So the first obstacle in this river, or the circumnavigation even, is the weir outside the Kingsley Hotel. Personally, I recommend if you're in a longboat or sea kayak to take that sideways, as it reduces your impact on bottom and keeps the boat nice and stable. First bridge is a footbridge which connects the Kingsley Hotel across to Fitzgerald Park via the Mardyke. Next we have O'Neill Crowley Bridge, which is going through now. Then we have a footbridge which connects two parts of UCC campus. Then we pass under, they're out of shot, but there's a footbridge and a new road bridge connecting the Lee Clinic to the Bonds. And Gael Bridge. It's also a new footbridge connecting UCC's campus. Next we pass under the footbridge connecting UCC to the main road, as well as the O'Donovan's Bridge. Next we have a weir. This can be straightforward enough by launching straight across it. However, if you are new to kayaking, proceed with caution across this weir. Next is an old rail bridge which is disused and been ripped up mostly. This was the Cork and Muskerry light rail line. We won't be counting that bridge. Next we pass under 3 bridges in relatively quick succession. First one, second, and the last is St Finbarr's Bridge. Now after this bridge there can be a weir which can be tricky and dangerous in some situations. Generally, if this is just about covered, then you've hit the level perfectly. There may be a small drop, which is okay. If there's a large drop, there may be recirculation, which can be dangerous. Next is Clark's Bridge. Looking back upstream at Southgate Bridge. And then under Nano Nagle Bridge. This is Parliament Bridge. Trinity Bridge now. This is the lowest bridge on the Circumnavigation. Timed correctly, you can get under this with no problems. However, sometimes it can be a little bit tight. If you've left it slightly too late, there are ways to get around it, including holding onto other boats to lower your height, capsizing under the bridge, which is highly not recommended, or walking around. There are steps located on the quays which you can walk around. I've had to do this on one occasion.
Evening.
Next is Parnell Bridge, followed by Clontarf Bridge. This one can be also quite tight, but if you've already made it under Trinity Bridge, you will still fit under this bridge. Navigating between the larger members of steel may be necessary. Finally, for the last bridge on the South Channel, we have Eamon de Valera Bridge, which then brings us to the Port of Cork. Now around the Port of Cork we hang a left, the Lee continues to our right out to the sea. However, we are more interested in going back up and around and up the North Channel. So this is the Michael Collins Bridge, the Brian Brew Bridge, and the brand new Mary Elms Bridge. This is a foot and cycle bridge of interesting construction. Next we have St Patrick's Bridge, Christie Ring Bridge, which can be tight, but if you made Trinity Bridge, then you will make this bridge. Shandon Footbridge, Griffith Bridge, St. Vincent's Footbridge, which comes out of the old Boole House, the Mardyke Bridge, which connects Fitzgerald's Park, Daly's Bridge, otherwise known as the Shaky Bridge, and lastly Thomas Davis Bridge. In all, that's 31 bridges, not including the extra light rail line. So it depends how you count it. We believe 31. Then coming upstream, you'll have to get out of your kayak or canoe. Unless you take a particularly high spring tide, you can navigate back up through the sluice, but otherwise you'll have to pull your boat around. Lastly, you'll have the weir outside the Kingsley Hotel once again. This time we go up. So dismounting can be tricky. There are other points to do it. You can walk around by the Kingsley Hotel, or you can choose to do what I'm doing here and get out and walk up the weir. Just don't get sucked back down. And that is the Cork Circumnavigation, encompassing 31 bridges, about 9 kilometers of paddling. In a sea kayak, this should take about 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on your fitness. It can take longer in other boats. Again, as stated at the start of this video, you want to leave about 2 hours between when you start till high tide. So you need to leave 2 hours before high tide at a bare minimum. This trip was done at 2 hours before high tide, and we only just cleared Trinity Bridge. However, this was close to a spring tide, so this is an extreme case. If this was not a spring tide, we would have plenty of clearance. So, consulting with some local paddlers who are deeply in tune with what's happening in this situation can be very useful. So don't be afraid to try and reach out to the paddling community to try and find out more about how to do this safely and correctly. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.